Welcome, everybody, to our social media preview of the high school football weekend. Chuck Freeby and Bo Hunt today on this Thursday. Thanks for dropping by. Normally, I only get to see you on Friday.
It's great to be here in the studio.
And we gave you the sideline mic, just like it's a normal game. We want to make you feel at home. Okay, let's start up in Michigan, team that you and I saw earlier in the year, the Edwardsburg Eddies. Nothing has slowed them down. They're 8-0. They take on another 8-0 team in Paw Paw on Friday night. This one for the Wolverine Conference Championship.
Yeah, when I look at this game, last year these two teams played twice. Edwardsburg outscored them 90-10 in those two games. So when I look at this, a lot of points scored, a lot of points going to be scored in this game. Paw Paw averaging over 40 points a game, Edwardsburg averaging over 50 points a game. So there's could be a lot of points scored, but when you look at the defensive side, both teams are averaging less than 7 points given up in a game. So there could be some defensive stand-up in this game as well.
Here's the one thing. This Edwardsburg team, as you can see, runs the ball for about 390 yards a game. Matt Godesky right there, their leading rusher, 13 touchdowns on the year. Paw Paw has had some games this year where they've been torched by running games, and that is not a good matchup when you're going up against Edwardsburg. But we'll see how this one pans out. Tomorrow afternoon, it's a 5:15 start. They're still moving those games up because of the equine encephalitis scare up in Michigan. Now, another game that'll decide a conference championship tomorrow night is in the SMAC West. St. Joseph going to Portage Northern. St. Joe's had a little problem hanging on to the football lately. They really had a problem against Battle Creek Central. Lost the lead in the fourth quarter against DeWitt last week, so they're 6-2. This Portage Northern team, a lot of people both say they're the best team in the Kalamazoo area this year.
Yeah, they're a really good team. I mean, they're averaging over 44 points a game. And so, again, they got a lot of offense. Andrew Prattley, first-year coach at St. Joe, he's got this team going as well. I mean, they're a really good record, but that 44 points a game for Portage Northern, I mean, that's hard to come by.
Huskies playing on their home field. They've got so many weapons. Tyler Amos, Anthony Tyus in the backfield, and then Nick Hennigan throwing the football. I just don't know if St. Joe on the road can generate the kind of numbers that they need to contend with this Portage Northern team, but we will see. Now let's come into the state of Indiana. Obviously, it's opening week of the sectionals. You know that already. Class 2A, Wabash goes to LaVille. I don't know why they're called the Apaches. They should be called the Cannonballs. Everybody knows that. They're going to need a cannonball-type game out of their 1,000-yard rusher. Kellen Kirschmeyer's having a nice year for Wabash. Will he be enough to take on LaVille?
Well, that's the thing I look at as well is, can they take on this LaVille squad? Are they capable of knocking off LaVille? LaVille, of course, has a lot of speed. Will Hostrauser has done a great job at LaVille. It's really turned that program into a really, Class 2A now powerhouse, and they've really done it on the ground, done it with speed, and they've done it well. They've made 4 sectionals in the past 6 years. They've won 2 of those, or they won 2 years ago. I look at them as to move forward in this. Apaches are 4-5 on the year, so I look at LaVille.
Colby Watts and Andrew Dill, very dynamic players in that offense. Aiden Doyle running the quarterback slot. I like the way LaVille has played defense, though, this year. They've got kids like Robbie Pope at linebacker, who's their leading tackler, and they're really holding teams to about 10 points a game. So Wabash having to go into LaVille and play at Lancer Field, not an easy task for the Apaches. Not an easy task for Northridge tomorrow night either, as they get the #1 team in Class 4A in this week's coaches poll, and that's East Noble. Tom Wagaman's team is going to have to find some ways to move the football against the Knights, and that's not something Northridge has been doing really well lately.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what Tom Wagaman's done over at Northridge, and he's done a fantastic job of really turning this program into a winning program. Yes, they're 4-5 this year, struggling a little bit. They lost to Plymouth 35-17. East Noble beat Plymouth. They beat Mishawaka. So they're a team really to be reckoned with East Noble, 38 points a game. The thing I look at is the past 5 seasons, they've only had 6 regular season losses, but they've had 0 sectional championships over at East Noble. So this is a game they really got to get some momentum going into the sectional to win this game.
You see these running backs for Northridge, Cade Lacey and Dominic Crowder. They're going to have big games. So is the quarterback, Oliver Evler. But also that defense of the Raiders has to find a way to stop Blake Parker. The East Noble quarterback has thrown for 28 touchdowns. He's run for 11. He's a phenom, and Luke Amstutz has another good team down in Kendallville. Well, we saw a good team last week in New Prairie. They came up a little bit short against Elkhart Central, But now they're back in 4A playing a team that they just beat 2 weeks ago in South Bend Riley.
Yeah, when I look at Riley, I look at what Jarvis Edison's done. Again, another newer coach coming in, taking a program, taking it to the next level. Riley's really developing. Thing with Riley, we're in the sectional. They haven't won a sectional since November 6th of 1992. Take you all the way back, that was my senior year, so that was a long, long time ago. But when you look at New Prairie, you can see him right here. Russ Rackey's turned this program into a championship-style program. They have not won a first round or only once has Russ Rackey not won a first round matchup in the last 8 seasons at New Prairie.
You know, we saw them open it up a little bit last week. You see Chase Ketterer throwing the football right here, and they opened it up because they had to. I would expect them to be a little more conservative on Friday night over at Jackson Field with that guy, Chris Mays, over 1,000 yards, Ketterer over 1,500 yards. They can run the football.
Yeah, their passing game, it was unquestionable. We saw a lot more passing than what we would see this week.
Let's go into 3A now. West Noble goes to John Glenn. Monty Mallwarder has got a great team at Noble. They're ranked number 7 in Class 3A. They're 9-0 on the year. They've got some playmakers. Brandon Pruitt, Josh Gross-Pruitt, has run for over 1,200 yards, and he's got 8 sacks. He kind of reminds me a little bit of you in your younger years. But we've seen John Glenn at Walkerton surprise some people this year. They knocked off South Bend Washington. Can they upset the number 7 team in Class 3A?
Well, I think that's what John Glenn, they have to believe. I mean, they knocked off a really good South Bend Washington team, 28-21. So when you look at that, they're a team that can upset some people. Now, when you look at West Noble, they are 9-0, but who have they played? When you look at the stats, they've only played 2 teams with winning records, a 1A Cherubusco team and a 2A Eastside team. So does their schedule match up to what John Glenn has played?
We will find out tomorrow night in Walkerton. And we also have a Class 3A game for you on TV 46 tomorrow night. The first ever meeting between Tippecanoe Valley and South Bend, Washington. A pair of 6-3 teams. You dropped some knowledge with that Riley sectional title in 1992. Do you know the Valley's last sectional title came in 1992 as well?
Yeah, that last time they won was November 6, 1992. So, you know, we got some teams. We are talking about sectional play. So this is the time to really get ramped up, and it starts with that first week. You have to come out. You have to come out ready to play. These 2 teams match up so
my
evenly.
Goodness, yes.
I mean, when you look at their coaches, their players, their size, their speed, the way they go about their offenses, their defense, they're almost identical teams.
You want to see some old-fashioned football? Tune in to 46 tomorrow night live on Facebook at 7:30 and on 46 Friday night, 11, Saturday morning at 9. You're going to see 2 teams that run the football for about 250 yards a game. Don't throw it all that much. Big offensive linemen, big defensive linemen. A lot of this is going to be played between the tackles. Should be fun to watch. I'm going to give you some names to keep an eye on here. Dakota Gaff from Tippecanoe Valley, their leading rusher. Teron Bradshaw from South Bend, Washington, their leading rusher. But I'm telling you, those big uglies, and I mean they are big. I've been to both practices this week. I felt very small standing next to some of these young men. The big guys are going to decide this one.
Yeah, I think it's in the trenches, that's for sure. Who can get pushed off the line of scrimmage? Who can push into the backfield to stop some of those runs? Line of scrimmage is where it's at. Could be a little bit of cold, a little bit of dampness out there, but we're on turf. We're at school field, so, you know, get that push up front.
Should be a fun night of football. We hope you'll join us live on Facebook at 7:30, Friday night on TV 46 at 11, and Saturday morning at 9. For my broadcast partner, Bo Hunt, it's Chuck Freeby. Great to have you with us for the social media preview of 46 Sports.